Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to our Dharma with streaming. So tonight we have this sessions regarding about the discussion on meditation and contemplation 101. And this session is very important. The reason is because a lot of people want to learn about meditation. But what is the purpose on learning meditation? So in these sessions, I would like to discuss with all of you about the mindset when we start to learn meditation. So what type of mindset should we uphold when we learn the meditation? And before I start to talk into how to practice meditation, I would like to share with you about the meditation in Buddhism. Before the Buddha's time, during the Buddha's time, and after the Buddha's time. So let's start to talk about what was the meditation before the Buddha's time. So meditation does not start from the Buddha or from Buddhism. Meditation basically, during the ancient Indian, they already practiced this meditation whereby they call it the yoga. And their purpose of practicing the meditation or yoga in the Indian ancient culture is because in India, they face with a lot of natural disaster, such as the bad weather, the environment, and also a lot of war. So that's why they are facing with a lot of threat in their life. And the Indian people, they get very tired and fear about living as a human being. So they want to find a way to release out from the challenging situation or the suffering situation. And the ultimate release to them is to release out from the birth and death. So they they think that through meditation, they are able to reach to a stage whereby they will not be able to reborn again. Or they will meditate to a stage whereby they will freeze in that stage and they won't feel anything. Even the challenge comes to them, they won't feel anything. So they practice the ascetic practice whereby they torture their body. They sat under the tree to meditate for weeks and months. The purpose is to look for a way to release out from that situation. And this type of practice basically lasts for many years. And then after that, they continue to pass on even till now. And during the Buddha's time, when he was born in his country, basically in his country, a lot of the practitioners practice this yoga, finding ways to release from suffering and stop the birth and death. So this is the objective. And when the Buddha, he was born in that country, he doesn't aware about this ascetic practice because his father basically locked out all this sin from him. The father doesn't want him to face the reality. He was afraid that the prince will renounce and become a practitioner. However, when the prince saw the reality of our life, the old age, sickness, and death, he basically realized that none of us are able to release ourselves from this reality. And all of us have to face this suffering from this situation. So he wants to find a way to stop this suffering. He wants to find a way to stop it. He wants to find a way whereby we do not need to be reborn again. So when he decided to depart from his family when he decided to renounce to become an ascetic practitioner. He has his objective is to find a way to change our current situation. And of course, during that environment, the practice was the yoga practice, the ascetic practice. So he joined in this ascetic groups and learned from two different teachers from two different schools. And he realized something is that even though he's able to meditate to the deep focus, when I say deep focus means that he was so deep in the meditation whereby he will not feel anything around him. He will not feel it. So when he reached to that stage, he realized that when he meditates, everything is fine. But when he stopped his meditation, because he still need to eat, he still need to drink, right? When he stopped meditation, he realized that he still have to face this reality. Nothing changed. Only that moment, he feel the peace and not being disturbed. And then he realized something is that this is not the ultimate way. So he decided to change his way of practice. Again, he still used the meditation. But this time, his meditation is not just doing the focus in meditation or just sitting there and lock our mind. His meditation is about contemplation, to find a way. So in Buddhism, meditation is not just sitting there doing nothing. In Buddhism, meditation is not just feeling the comfortable, happy, peace feeling. It's not just about that. Meditation is not just about the skill. The skill or the method are just the tools that help us to be able to calm our body and mind down. But it won't let us realize or find a path to cease the suffering. It won't. So, all of us have this desire in looking for something. Same as in meditation. Same as in meditation. We need to have an objective to practice meditation. At this point of time, it's not to the stage to look for emptiness or impermanence. At this stage of time, whereby we start to have this interest in sitting meditation or learning meditation, the first thing we have to ask ourselves is, what is my purpose on spending the time sitting there and doing so-called meditation? What am I looking for? The Buddha is looking for a way to cease suffering. He's looking for a way to cease suffering, and he wants to guide the people how to cease suffering in their life, and ultimately able to release out from this suffering and reach to the stage of nirvana. That is his objective. And this is the ultimate teachings from the Buddha. Liberate out from suffering and achieve peace. So when we learn meditation from a Buddhist teacher, of course, the teacher will first guide you to how to sit and how to adjust your body. But actually before that, think about what is your purpose of coming to do meditation. You know why we need to find a purpose? If we do not have a purpose, you might just come for 1 to 2 times and you will go away because you will feel boring. Why am I sitting there for nothing? I might feel quiet, peace for that moment. But after that, when I go home or when I step out from the temple, I'm back to my original life. I still have to face with all these kind of problems. Then meditation become what? A place for you to run away from the reality, which is not the objective of the Buddha, from the Buddha, and also not the objective of doing meditation. That's not the objective. The objective is to how do we practice meditation whereby we can apply in our daily life with so many challenges. So we already talked about before the Buddha's time and during the Buddha's time. And during the Buddha's time, he taught his disciple various ways to do meditation. The reason is because a lot of disciples, when they start to do meditation, they're unable to calm themselves down. Same as us. So don't feel bad that why I have so many thoughts coming out. During the Buddha's time, most of his disciples have this challenge as well, unable to sit quietly. So for the monastic disciple, the Buddha start with teaching the what? Contemplating the skeleton of a human. But this contemplation does not just focus on the skeleton. The monastic disciples needs to visualize that there is a dead body in front of him. And then this dead body started to decay. The fluid flow out from the mouth, from the nose, from the ear, from the eyes. The body start to get rotten, and worms, the worms coming out, climbing out from the body, and the body start to become very smelly. So the monastic disciple has to contemplate on this uncomfortable picture. And what is the purpose for the Buddha to teach them about contemplating this skeleton or the corpse? It's because the Buddha wants the monastic disciple to understand that this body is non-self, is impermanent. We love this body so much, but one day, all of us will have to experience this. The body gets stiff when we pass away, and the skin color changes, and then start to have the smell coming out. And of course, through cremation, the body gets burned out and become ashes. And for those that bury under the ground, will have to experience the rotten and the worms or insects eating the flesh of that corpse. So the Buddha wants the students to understand that do not attach to this body. However, this teaching is too much for the students, because when the students or the monastic disciple, they contemplate on this, they start to feel what? They dislike this body. They already have this feeling. They have this feeling that this body is so dirty, not just impermanence on oneself. It's so dirty. The water is so smelly. The worms pouring out from the body, and the ice ball drop off. So they dislike. They hate this body so much, and then the disciples start to commit suicide because they want to end it. Whereby this is not the right way, and this is not what the Buddha want to teach them. So the Buddha realized that, oh, this is too much for the disciples. They can't accept this. Too much for them. So he started to change his method. A more easier and not so harsh method. The method is what? Counting the breathing, which many of your students, many of your teacher will teach you about. When you do meditation, start to count your breathing. How do you count it? You breathe in, you breathe out, you count as 1. You breathe in again, breathe out, count as 2. So from 1 to 7. From 1 to 7, and then come back to 1 again, and then count all the way to 7 and come back to 1 again. And you might ask is that, why do I need to count from 1 to 7 and come back again? Why can't I continue to count 8, 9, 10, 11, 12? You can experience this. However, you realize something. In between, you forget where you count to. You know why? The thoughts comes out and disturb your counting. You start to lose the number. So that's the reason why the Buddha says that from 1 to 7, if you're able to count the breathing from 1 to 7 completely, come back to count the second time, and then the third time, and then the fourth time, and then ask yourself is that how many thoughts arises and disturb my counting. So again, this is a tool that helps us to be able to calm ourselves down, not just our mind, including our body. It helps us to focus so that when the thoughts arises, we will go back to the focus. And this is a very useful method. But I mentioned earlier, this is just a tool, because when you start to count and slowly you get focus, your mind starts to slow down, the thought starts to slow down, and slowly you realize that the thoughts no more arising. And that's the time you start to do your contemplation. So this is a very simple introduction to you about the meditation skill, one of the meditation skills. So this meditation, after the Buddha passed away, the disciples, whether it's monastic disciple or lay disciple, they continue to practice as according to the Buddha's teachings in meditation. However, when things transmit from one place to another place, it will definitely change due to the culture in that place, due to the language in that place, due to the custom in that place. So Buddhism transmits from India to Central Asia, and after that, slowly and spread out to China, and then through Sri Lanka, Thai, and from China spread to Japan and Korea. So, as I mentioned earlier, is that when this Indian culture, way of practice transmitted to China, Chinese basically is a very different culture to the Indian. Same thing is that Indian is a very special culture to the Chinese. So when Buddhism enter into the Chinese soil, they have this thing called culture shock. Culture shock. The reason is because during at the ancient China, they already have their own religion, whereby it's called Taoism. Taoism believes in what? Gods. And Taoism believes that if a person practices this Taoism, this person will be able to what? To be born to the heaven and become a small god or semi-god. So when the Buddha or the Buddhism transmit to China, they realize that Chinese, they already have this meditation, but their objective is not to release out from suffering or to liberate out from the circle of birth and death. The objective is to what? To be born to the heaven world, to the heaven, to become a God. And they also look for eternal life. So when the Chinese, they saw this religion, they realized that, oh, they also have this what? This meditation, same as us. And their meditation basically was so different from us. We are so focused in going to the heaven. But their meditation is to what? Look into themselves, their true self. And look for a way to live a life from this challenging situation. They're not so keen. They were not so keen in reborn or born to the heaven. So the Chinese, when they start to learn the meditations from these Central Asia people or from the Indians, they try to merge these two types of meditation together. And that's the reason why there are so many schools in the Chinese Buddhism. And also there are so many ways of practicing in Chinese Buddhism. Sometimes it's even far away from the original meditation from the Buddha, from his objective of doing meditation. In China, the meditation become very complicated with the ritual or the details in practice. In the Buddha's time, the disciple just didn't look for a quiet place or under the tree. They sit down and do meditation. But in Chinese meditation hall, they have all kinds of instruments. The board, the bell, all sorts of things. So the objective in Chinese Buddhism by practicing meditation basically are quite different from the original meditation in Buddhism that taught by the Buddha. The same thing for Tibetan Buddhism. Their way of meditation are also quite different from the original meditation practice during the Buddha's time. In Tibetan, they focus a lot on ritual, a lot about mantra. This is something not so much focused during the Buddha's time. Not so much. The Sri Lanka or Thai, they are more close to the Buddha's way of teachings in meditation. They focus a lot in the internal reflection, internal practice. So when Buddhism transmitted from China to Korea or Japan, they start to develop their own practice as according to their own culture as well. There might still remain some of the teachings from Buddhism, but basically the practice are quite different. Such as in Korean, they have a lot of practice that focus on the gong'an, which call the cases. The teacher or the master give a cases, and the student has to contemplate on it. But what is the purpose on contemplating on a case? What is the objective? The same thing in Japan. They have a lot of tea meditation, same as in China. Tea meditation. But what is the purpose of doing tea meditation? What do we want to achieve in our meditation? Can this Gong'an and tea meditation help us to liberate out from the circle of birth and death? And also help us to what? Overcome the suffering that we are facing daily. Can it? I'm not saying that they are no good, but they are also one of the tools. It's a tool for us to what? Practice focus. So this tool has no difference from the counting of the breathing. And these two become very complicated. The breathing is quite simple. You just breathe in, breathe out, focusing on it. And then when you finish counting 7 times, you come back again. It might be boring, but when you are able to understand why you are doing this, you'll be able to accomplish this method and achieve the stage of peace and calmness. And now we talk about meditation in this Western country. In the Western world, or we call the English-speaking world, country, basically Buddhism, Tibetan Buddhism transmit to the Western country not in the earlier stage, but they have a big influence to the Western Buddhism. The reason is because a lot of Westerners, they went to learn the meditation from the Tibetan monks. But the Japanese priests were the one that actually entered into America the earliest group that entered into America. And then after that, it's Chinese Buddhism. And of course, there are Sri Lanka Buddhism and Thai Buddhism, but basically I consider the minority. So when this Japanese priest came to the Western world, the Japanese priests basically, they start to understand about this Western culture, learn the languages, and start to introduce the Japanese meditations to the local people. That's why there's a D.T. Suzuki, a very famous so-called priest or scholar that start to bring in Buddhism to the Western world. However, he only bring in the Japanese Buddhism, which Japanese Buddhism are quite late. They're quite late kind of Buddhism. And then after that, this Chinese Buddhism, they enter into the Western world, but they were basically just active in their own community, so-called the Chinese community, or the Vietnamese monastic. They came here to the Western world. They only take care of their own people, the Vietnamese. One of the challenges they were facing was the language barrier. During the earliest time, those Chinese monastic or the Vietnamese monastic or the Korean monastic, most of them does not really speak English. So Tibetan Buddhism arises due to a lot of secret type of practice, such as the mantra, the hand postures, and also they are chanting. A lot of Westerners get attracted by them. And they learn the practice from the Tibetan Buddhism, including the meditation. However, when a Westerner starts to learn a different religious from the other ethnic, what is the purpose for them to practice this? So I've been in North America, including Canada, in total for 16 years. And I realized something is that a lot of Westerners, when they get interested in meditation, basically they are looking for something that they can calm themselves down, feel the comfortable feeling in meditation. That's it. They might not think of how to resolve the situation they have. So a lot of them, they learn meditation for a while and then they walk away. And then they come back again when they have trouble. Through meditation, they get a peace and then they stop it. And then when they have a problem again, they come back again. The reason is because their objective is not something that is so important in our life. It's just the moments that they feel unhappy, so they want to escape out. Find a way to escape out. It's not just the Westerner. A lot of us, a lot of us Chinese or non-Chinese or anyone, when we face with any of the challenge, we try to run away. But this challenge does not stop. It's still coming in. So we start to have to think about is that, can meditation help us in our daily life? Can it help us in our daily life to help us to resolve the problem that we are facing? In our previous class, we already talked a lot about the reality of this phenomenal world and ourselves. The challenge that we are facing with this in this phenomenal world. We have to face with this environment, the weather. The weather is something that we have to face with. The environment that we have to face with. The technical improvements that we cannot chase, we are unable to chase after it. This is also a challenge. And also we have to face with the challenge of ourselves, old age, sickness, and death. And also our desire. We do not want to see this person's always appear in front of me. I like this person, but this person does not like me. I do not want to experience the sadness when people pass away, but we have to experience it. This is the reality. So this is also the objective of the Buddha. He wants to guide us. He never says that when you learn from me, all these things will be stopped. No, because in phenomenal, this is the truth. It's a kind of collective karma together with the individual karma. So we human basically have the collective karma. And from this big collective karma, we start to separate out into group type of collective karma. So some people stay in America, some people stay in Europe, some people stay in Southeast Asia. And we have to face with different kinds of challenge in different places. So in America, in the East Coast, we face with the challenge snowing. Sometimes we have big storms. But in Southeast Asia, you never see any snow before. It's always hot. Don't even have 4 seasons. All these are challenges. And these challenges is something that we can't change it. So since we can't change this, then what are the teachings from the Buddha to help us to release out from the suffering? The Buddha, he taught us how to release the suffering here and here. Physically, we face with all these types of challenges, but our mind will not be disturbed by this reality of life. When the weather is no good, our body feels the uncomfortable feeling, but we can control our mind, not being dragged away by this uncomfortable feeling. I always say that we already have to face with all this challenge and experience this challenge. Why do you want to put in more suffering into yourself? What's the purpose? It's just double on top of each of the suffering. Keep on stacking and stacking and stacking. So meditation, in a way, in Buddhism, is to help us to let go of the suffering in here. Let go of the reality that we attach to. We're so attached to this body, but it has to say goodbye to us. So we have to learn to let go. And how to let go? Meditation plus contemplation. We have to calm ourselves down and think carefully. And during the Buddha's time, he used the Four Noble Truths, the three Dharma seal, the 12 links, and the Eightfold Path for the students to contemplate into the truth of this phenomenal world. And also the cost of this challenging that we attach in here. Why this challenging? We keep on clinking on it and stick to our body and later on get into our mind. He also wants us to contemplate on there is a way to release out from this suffering, from this samsara, this circle. And what are the ways for us to practice in order to cease the suffering or even achieve to nirvana, So that's the reason why in meditation, it's not just what a lot of people think about is that, oh, I feel uncomfortable, I feel sad, I feel depressed, so I practice meditation. I go to a temple or a meditation center to sit there and meditate. And let me tell you something, if you have this mentality, basically this meditation won't be long. You might come and go for three to four times and then you disappear. The reason is because you're not looking for a solution in our life when we're facing with the challenge in the reality. So meditation is not just for old people. Meditation can be for any age. But in any age, due to their age situation, they might be able to see so long. And this is why the teachers needs to guide them. But the teacher can't force a person to do meditation. The teacher just can able to guide this person. This person has to have his own will in learning Buddhism. So in the Western country, I realized that some people, they practice meditation by playing the music, and then relax. Again, my questions to those members that doing meditation, listening to the music, do you know why you need to on the music? What is the purpose of playing the music when you sit there? Is it the same thing as when you're doing what? Counting the breathing meditation? A way whereby you can not relax is to focus your mind. Meditation is not just for relax. Relax is just a preparation before we do meditation. The same thing for the music is that it's a preparation, it's a tool for us to do what? To get into meditation. If we attach to the music, this is not the right way in doing meditation. It's just like we get addicted to smoking, addicted to drugs, addicted to drinks. It also helps us to relax, but we get addicted to it. So we can use all kinds of methods to practice meditation. But the thing is that we have to realize that these are just the tools for us to be able to start our meditation. And my purpose of meditation is very important because this will be the one that will help us or guide us to persistently practice this meditation, not just for this life, but also for future life. So the practice in Buddhism is very practical. It's very practical that can help us keep now, the future of this life, and also the future lives. The only thing is that, are we willing to practice this? Most of us only look for what? Temporary solution. But the Buddha, he helped us to practice a method for long-term solution. So in this class, my objective to start this meditation and contemplation 101 is to be able to introduce to you what the meditation practice that taught by the Buddha and the objective of meditation in Buddhism. This objective is not the objective of Buddhism. This objective is your objective in practicing meditation. What is your objective? What are you looking for? This is more important. Before we talk about emptiness or visualize or contemplation, before we talk about that, we have to start from the beginning. You have to put in the pillar. It's just like building a building. You have to have a few strong pillars that you come in, and then it has to be firm in it. Then you're able to build on top of it. And also you must have a plan in building this building. What is the outlook? What are the configuration inside? You need to have a plan, a reason. Without a plan and reason, and you start to build, you'll feel very tired and easily you will start to give up because you have no reason. You yourself did not have a reason, an objective on doing this. And because of no reason and objective, and that's why there's no plan. And when there's no plan, you start to learn from different people and you get confused and you get tired. So my advice to all of you is that think about what is your purpose in doing meditation. What is your purpose? And then from there, you start to think about where should I start? So in this session, I give a very brief introductions about the meditation before the Buddha's time, and then transmitted to the Western country, of course, to Asia, Southeast Asia, and even to Tibet, and then to the Western country. And a lot of practice in the Western country still focus on what? Relaxation. Still have not reached to the objective of meditation in Buddhism. And I have a homework for all of you, is that in these 7 days, please look at the mirror every day. 5 minutes or even 3 minutes is good. Start to talk to yourself. What is the purpose of my life? What's the purpose of my life? What am I looking for? Can meditation help me? These are all very important questions. It's because when one day you get tired in practicing Buddhism or meditation, you have to go back and ask yourself, is that why do I start this journey in the beginning? Why? I'm supposed to look for something. I'm supposed to hope to get something. Definitely, you know that it's not a tangible thing, but you want to achieve something. And when you get tired, when you think about this, you will continue your path. So today, just a brief introduction about the meditation in Buddhism. And this session is very important because it's a mindset of mindset for us to start to practice meditation. Without this mindset, you won't be able to practice long because you will ask yourself, you will question yourself is that, why am I spending time just sitting there for nothing? I might get the 30 minutes of quietness, but after that, I still have to face with the reality that we face every day. Okay, so thank you very much, and I will see you next class. 阿弥陀佛。